Look, everyone thinks the Amazfit T-Rex 2 is the budget Garmin you can toss off a cliff and it keeps ticking, but here's the thing, you shouldn't buy it yet. Because the surprising truth I found after 3 weeks of hiking, trail runs, pool laps, and a literal freezer test is this. The hardware is a tank, but your decision hinges on whether you need brains or brawn. Everyone sees 24-day battery and military-grade toughness and thinks instant win, but I kept hitting moments where the data and ecosystem didn't match the muscle. Stay with me because what survived granite scrapes and sub-zero temps might not survive your expectations if you're a metrics-first athlete. Before we dive into what I discovered, if you're already convinced and want to grab the T-Rex 2 at the best price, there's a link below. But stick around because what I found about GPS accuracy, battery drain, and training data could either save you cash or seal the deal. Here's why I went hunting for this watch. I needed a rugged GPS watch for weekend mountain hikes, early morning trail runs, and the occasional obstacle race. My phone battery kept dying by hour 3, and my last smartwatch cracked on a boulder in week 2. I wanted long battery, big buttons I could use with gloves, and something I wouldn't baby. Garmin Instinct 2 was on my radar, but the price made me swallow hard. Enter the Amazfit T-Rex 2. A 1.39-inch AMOLED at 454 x 454, 10 ATM water resistance, dual-band GPS with 5 satellite systems, and claimed up to 24 days of battery. It read like a spec sheet written for my life, but specs don't tell you what happens at mile 9 when the trail disappears. First test, durability and comfort. I took it on 3 rocky hikes, a pool session, and a couple of gym days. I dragged the polymer alloy bezel across granite on purpose for a scratch check, wore it in chlorinated water, and froze it for an hour at around -4 degrees F to simulate winter abuse. The T-Rex 2 shrugged. No fogging under the glass, buttons stayed clicky with gloves, and the 10 ATM rating felt legit. But then, the bulk hits you. At around 66 grams with strap, it catches on jacket cuffs and the silicone band can get sweaty on long runs. You'll see me scrape it on screen and show the close-ups. Second test, GPS and navigation. Dual band positioning is the headline. On open sky trails, distances matched my reference Forerunner within about 1 to 1.5% and tracks were clean. Downtown with tall buildings, the T-Rex 2 drifted a bit, bouncing between sides of the street while my chest-mounted phone GPS held truer. In dense trees, it did better than single-band budget watches, but you'll still see a little zigzag. Cold start GPS lock took 10 to 20 seconds for me. Route import and real-time breadcrumb navigation via GPX worked with on-wrist arrows and off-route alerts. But here's where it gets interesting. There's no full-color map or street names. If you want turn-by-turn cues like on higher-end Garmin's, you won't get them. Third test, health metrics. I ran intervals wearing a Polar H10 chest strap to compare. At steady pace, heart rate tracking was within 2-3 BPM. During sprints, it lagged, sometimes overshooting or undershooting by 8 BPM for 15-30 seconds. For all-day use, SpO2 spot checks worked, stress tracking was fine, and sleep staging was generally accurate, but it miscounted one late evening couch nap as light sleep. Training load and recovery estimates are helpful with PAI guidance and VO2 max estimates, but the coaching depth isn't in Garmin's league. If you live on structured workouts and recovery metrics, you'll feel the ceiling. Fourth test, battery reality. Amazfit advertises up to 24 days typical. With always-on display off, all-day heart rate and stress on, sleep tracking on, and 4 GPS workouts per week using dual-band high precision, I got 12-14 days consistently. With the always-on display enabled, that dropped closer to 9. In high-precision GPS mode, I saw roughly 5-6% battery drain per hour. In balanced GPS mode, around 3-4%. That's solid for a bright AMOLED. Charge time back to full was about 2 hours on the magnetic puck. But then the trade-off hits. Dual-band accuracy helps in forests and canyons, but it's also what eats battery fastest. Here's the surprise. The T-Rex 2's hardware-to-price ratio is kind of ridiculous. The case survived everything I threw at it. The AMOLED is bright in sun, the buttons are glove-friendly, and 10-14 days real-world battery is peace of mind. But the catch is the brain power. Zep OS is smooth enough, yet the ecosystem is limited. No contactless payments, no onboard music storage, no mic or speaker for calls, and third-party app support is sparse. Notifications are fine, but you can't meaningfully respond. Sync to Strava worked, though occasionally delayed by a few minutes. Compared to alternatives, the picture clarifies. The Garmin Instinct 2 costs more, but its training tools, navigation prompts, and widget ecosystem are deeper, with optional solar. The Coros Pace 2 is lighter with excellent training metrics at a similar price, but it's not remotely as rugged, and battery under dual-band conditions isn't comparable. Expectation versus reality. If you were hoping for a cheap Garmin Fenix clone, this isn't it. If you want a reliably tough adventure companion with good enough data and excellent battery, it absolutely is. I logged 11 workouts, 2 long hikes, 1 pool session, a freezer stint, and daily wear to get here. Now that you know the real trade-off, a near-indestructible watch with solid GPS and battery but limited smart features and middling coaching depth, your next step is simple. If that sounds like your use case, grab it before the next price jump. The best current deal is linked in the description. Bottom line, do not buy the Amazfit T-Rex 2 if you're a data-obsessed triathlete, need contactless pay, want onboard music, or demand turn-by-turn navigation and deep training analytics. Do buy it if you're a hiker, trail runner, OCR racer, construction worker, or anyone who prioritizes battery life, toughness, glove-friendly buttons, and a bright screen you can read at noon. For medium to hard use, it's a tank that just keeps going. The real takeaway, you shouldn't buy the T-Rex 2 as a budget Garmin. Buy it as a battle-ready tool that nails the essentials and survives the weekend, even when you don't.